Good afternoon. Welcome to the lounge area. Welcome aboard. Thank you. We designed the lounge area to be a place of relaxation, contentment, and just a general feel of very cozy. So it has a library theme. We try to keep everything here very nice and relaxed. I assume that you've met Suko? Wonderful. Our travel coordinator. My name's Yvette, and I am the entertainment scheduler, connoisseur, whatever you want to call it. Well, first I want to welcome you to our train. And as Suko has probably also gone through so many of the basics, the intent of this journey is more for relaxation, entertainment, and just general pleasures. So that is our ultimate goal. And if there's anything that I can do to help facilitate those things, definitely let me know. Did you get Suko's personal page number? Great. I'll make sure that you have a copy of his cell phone, and that way, if you have any personal requests outside of my domain, that you can definitely seek him out and give those requests to him. Great. Is there anything I can do to make you any more comfortable? Do you want any more beverage? I see that he's already gotten you situated. Wonderful. So what are your first impressions of your journey here on the Emerald Islands train? Well, I'm glad that you feel that way. That's awesome. Is there anything I can do to make you more comfortable? Any temperature regulation, beverages, food, entertainment, preferred music, anything like that? Well, as the entertainment coordinator, title kind of self-explanatory, but I'm in charge of any kind of scheduling and arranging of different events that you might have over the course of this trip. On several nights, we'll be visiting several ports. There's only one night where it is recommended that you stay on board, and that's because we will be actively traveling. You can request to leave at any time, so if you're uncomfortable or unhappy with anything at any point, just let it be known to either Suko or myself, and we'll arrange for the proper. Okay, alright, just making sure to let you know that there's an exit in the case that you feel uncomfortable by any of it, okay? Okay, that's definitely not our intention, but I also want you to know that that option is always open. Okay. So, on the first night of travel, it is the night where we recommend everyone to stay on board. You're going to be situated in your own private room that has your own private balcony area, and so going over with some of those for you. Wonderful. Okay. On my end of things, one of the things that I can do is I can schedule different appointments to have a masseuse come in if there is specific entertainment that you would like in private in your room, such as classic movies, books, anything like that. I can definitely arrange to have those things sent to your room. We do have a couple of things offered here in the various cars. As Sudo had probably mentioned, that there is a transitional stage with everything on board. So if you feel more comfortable, you can always sanitize your hands before going into the next car. But some of the things that we make recommendations for would be if you're traveling into the diner car, formal attire is usually recommended. Removing hats, things like that in the formal setting is definitely preferred, just to kind of keep the environment very similar to the theme. But we also have a dance car. So if you're inclined for swing dancing, country dancing, anything like that, it's usually fairly low population. So if there's a particular theme or style of dancing that you prefer, it's very easy to accommodate with the lower population of people in that car. It's if you're in the mood more for, partying and just being very active. But we also have the second and third cars, which are very different. Those are a little bit more inclined for relaxation and meditation purposes. We have several rooms that are intended for sensory deprivation. And for some people, this might not be the best place to start, because when you're on this journey, especially when it's the first night, you want to kind of embrace the traveling aspect of different cultures, different areas. These deprivation areas are more for focus, just getting to be very comfortable with your mindset. The motion of traveling is not always pleasant for some, so sometimes these areas can be a very good place to reset. So those areas are good. Tea service, coffee services are also offered in these primary areas. They are private rooms, and they are specifically lined with different fabrics on the wall, ceilings, and floor. It's a very, very comfortable setting. You can light different aromatherapy oils, as well as incense, candles, whatever sets the mood for, helping you to find that Zen state. We also have another reading lounge. Although this is the primary lounge, the reading lounge is intended specifically for reading, treated very much like a library, so quietness is preferred. You can have your choice of books, and in the case that we don't have the book here in any of our inventories, if we are still in port, we can find a way to get a hard copy or e-reader, anything like that. Let me write down what your Wi-Fi password is, okay? Do you mind if I take your pamphlet? Okay. That's a capital at the beginning. Okay. Any of these services can be offered in your own private room. So one thing I want to extend the offer, even though the deprivation study lounges are intended for sensory deprivation, we can almost simulate that in your own room privately. So if it's an activity that you want to fall asleep to and you just want to feel comfortable in your own space, just let us know. I'll schedule to have some of the noise cancellation foam to be installed in your room as well. The rooms are insulated, so you might hear the general motion of the train, but generally you won't hear any of the other occupants. You certainly won't hear any of the noises of the engine or anything like that, but you might hear the rocking and the wind of the train itself. And that, in a way, has its own pleasant, serene ambience to it. Right? Part of those relaxation carts, we do have a full-time masseuse here on the train. So at any point, we have multiple massage therapists on staff, and it's one of the deluxe luxuries that many people enjoy when they're aboard. This is something that can either be done in the relaxation cart, or if you want to have a masseuse scheduled to come to your room for a specific amount of time, that is also something that I can definitely arrange. For many, it is difficult difficult the first night to sleep, and I think it's more of a transition from being completely stationary to being on board something that is in constant motion. So kind of like seasickness, I definitely recommend it. Wonderful. What night or what time do you typically retire at night? Do you want me to schedule to have a masseuse come in? Any particular type of massage? We have staff members that specialize in everything from effleurage, Swedish massage, Thai massage, deep tissue massage. Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, you might be surprised. That seems like a rarity, but we do have someone on staff that specializes in that, so. Okay. And at 10? All right. Any preference for the time allotment? Do you want this to be a 1 hour, 2 hour session? Oh, wonderful. Okay. And you know that we'll probably place it into the late evening, and that's okay? Do they have permission to be in your room at that time? Okay. I'll make sure that they know. Do you want any kind of food delivery service, any kind of coffee, water delivery, food services, anything like that? Oh, absolutely. With Suko's number, definitely don't hesitate if there is a specific need that you have. If there's a food allergy or a food intolerance, anything like that, we'll custom your meals and your snacks, everything to be delivered to those specifications, okay? Well, I'll give you my number as well, so if you wanted to contact him or myself at any time, we are accessible throughout the entire transport of this voyage, so don't hesitate to give either of us a jingle, okay? And on the masseuse, do you have a preferred gender or anything like that? Just for comfort levels. Okay. Okay. Great. One of the other services that we offer in the evening on the first night around, and throughout the entire journey, is movie night. We have classic movies in cart 3. So if you aren't entirely sure what to do while we are still traveling in between ports, we have a classic movie night almost every single night starting at 8:30 p.m. and it goes on to the duration of the film. The private movie lounge is separated with recliners, although you can sit next to other guests if you prefer to socialize more, although it is not a requirement by any stretch. And if you wish to remain more solitary, that can also be arranged. We can also have the movie delivered to your room as well. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad that you would feel so comfortable. That's the goal. So on day 2 of our voyage, our primary entertainment is going to focus around a culinary retreat. So all around the Emerald Islands, so we have gathered several chefs from across the land that specialize in culinary treats from all over the area. And again, if there's any kind of specifications with your diet, vegetarian, vegan, no red meats, gluten-free, if you have celiac or any variety of dietary preferences or requirements. I have some of your details here on file, but we'll provide several menus, and if there's any changes in those variations, I encourage you to reach out to either of us, and we'll make sure that those are accommodated. Okay, all right. You're easy to work with, that's for sure. But just know that those are always options too. So on day 2, we actually will be stopped in port for several hours. Even though the culinary retreat is something that we host here in the train in cart 4, this is something that we will have in the casual dining area, but we also do have a segment of it that is in the formal dining area. So whatever you feel most comfortable with, if you want to experience the full range of culture with these culinary retreats, the formal dining area is going to have a representative from each area that will be presenting the foods and giving a little bit of history and some of the things that those entail. So if you're interested in the history and the storytelling of it, I highly recommend hanging out in the formal formal dining area specifically for that. It's very educational, but it's also, it's very nice to know where the food is sourced, where how the food is prepared, and where it originated from. So sometimes that's very fun. So the culinary retreat for foods, we will be landing in port at about 2 p.m., sometimes 1 to 2 p.m. depending on the weather. But that usually goes on to 6 or 7. If you choose to remain in the port, I can arrange a hotel stay, and we will be there all night. We will be re-embarking at 11 a.m. the following morning. So if it is something that you would like me to reserve a hotel, please keep in mind that we will be needing to reboard the train by 11 a.m. Okay. Also, while we're at port, this particular area is known for their festive dancing. So if it is something that you would like to experience the culture, the local culture, there's a couple of very good recommendations I can give for dance halls, and they have very unique massage therapists in this area, which we do not have access to on the train. So if you're looking for a calmer, more soothing event, that can also be arranged. So on day 3 is a little bit more of a quiet theme. And this is going to be mostly for travel. We're going to be going up the west coast of the Emerald Islands, and here is a beautiful, beautiful area. If you are interested in any of the seacoast, there are a whole bunch of waterways that are absolutely breathtaking to overlook. Your personal balcony area will be overlooking on the west side, so you would be able to see all of these areas from the comfort of your suite if you chose. But as we travel a little slower up that coast north, this is also going to be a more relaxed theme among all of our passengers. This is where we focus on activities like meditation, following up with the food history, demonstrations, and just the general history of the area. If you wish to visit the lounge or the secondary lounge, these are going to be activities that we're actively practicing on day 3, just an observation. It's not a strict rule or anything like that, but just to pay homage to some of the local cultures and just enjoy the scenery, because it is beautiful. Okay. Again, dinner and after-hour activities are completely subjective. Once we cross the 11 p.m. mark, these observation activities of meditation are no longer in effect. So the dance cart, the movie cart, the music hall, they are all going to be open for any kind of after-hour activities. adult beverages. Any kind of beverages can be served, including adult beverages, at this time. We'll land in the third port at about midnight. Many people like to stay on the train just because we arrive very, very late. Completely subjective. I can definitely arrange for any kind of a hotel stay, motel stay, or resort or retreat stay at this time period. You would be probably booking in around midnight, maybe 1 o'clock. And if that's okay with you, I can definitely arrange that, or anything can be arranged from this locale into your private room. So any kind of food, beverages, local entertainment, books, movies, anything like that, I can arrange. Very similar to the previous night, boarding recommences at 11 a.m. So we just ask that you please be on board by 11. If there's anything I can do to help facilitate that, arrange a taxi, I can personally chauffeur you as well. Or if you just want to walk back to the port, that is always welcome. No, we won't leave without you. I'm positive we won't leave without you. Just keep in mind that there are resources, so if you find yourself in a situation where you want to be chauffeured, give me a call. Okay, I'll make sure you get here. Okay, and we won't leave without you, even if you're late. Okay. As much as I always encourage people to give me a call, if you are late, noon is when we officially depart. So we would like to have you on board by 11, but noon is when we would officially depart. And this is going to be a sightseeing day. So between noon all the way until 6 p.m., we're going to continue traveling up north. And this is going to be overlooking the ocean on our west side. It's going to continue from the previous segment on day 3, but this is going to be absolutely breathtaking. This is going to be along some of the coastal rockways, and you're going to have a fantastic view all the way to the North Port, and that is going to pretty much occupy the entire day. All of the carts will be open, everything from the library to meditation to the diner, the movie, the dance hall, everything is going to be open around this time period. If you wish to remain in your cart, in your suite, that is also more than welcome. We can arrange to have any array of entertainment provided into your room privately. So, okay. Very similar to the night before, overnight activities are going to be open. We will be docking around midnight. We can set reservations for being on the island at any time, hotel, motel, resorts, and then re-embarking at 11. This is mostly going to be a transition into our next day, and this is going to involve wine and local beer tasting. For many, this is the most enjoyable segment of our journey. Mine personally, I love the wine tasting, but reboarding on day 5 at 11 a.m., mandatory before noon, before we re-embark. There are various different types of local IPAs and beers, domestic beers, international beers, and local wine that is going to be brought on board on day 5 from the northern coast. And throughout the day, I know it might seem kind of early, starting at noon, but there's going to be a whole bunch of history that goes through the development of each beer and wine, and the production, the distribution, how each wine has become perfected and what it pairs with as far as food. And Suko or myself can definitely help coordinate that as far as your culinary preferences and requirements to complement those aspects of things. So the wine testing is going to go on probably throughout the entire evening into the late night when we land into our secondary port. Not secondary port, but the next port, which is going to be on the northeast coast. So this day is going to be primarily traveling from the northern west coast all across the northern until the northeast. And that is where we will dock for a little while. And again, similarly, if you want to have a reservation off of the train, that is more than comfortable and more than and that is more than welcome. So. Day 6 is going to be a little bit later of an expectation, considering the day before. We will be disembarking at 2 p.m. on day 6. So if you need any time to recover, know that is more than welcome. We will try our best to welcome you back aboard if there's anything that we can do to make that transition a little bit more comfortable for you. Massage, hydration, specific dietary requirements. We're familiar with that, so just let us know what it is that we can help accommodate. All right. So continuing on day 6, we're going to have a little bit of a late lunch. Throughout the day, you can request any kind of tea or coffee, and just know that any kind of dietary service can be made at your request at any time. So you can always contact me or Suko, and we'll make sure that you have what it is that you wish to, okay? The evening activities for day 6 leading into day 7. Day 7 we will be porting again our last evening into the eastern port, but leading up to that, it's a culmination of all the days that we have traveled, and we will be focusing on relaxation and rest, reflection, going over some of the history. Both lounges will be having a history. I don't want to call it a lesson because that kind of has a negative stigma to it, but it will have a teaching of the local areas and the entire Emerald Islands and the areas that you have traveled, offering us to special order anything from any of the ports that we are stationed at throughout this journey. So if there's any food or local wine, local beers that you are interested in taking home with you after this journey, this will be the time that we can go over that. And then we will be focusing on relaxation. All of our massage therapists will be on board, and we're going to make sure that you are as comfortable as you possibly can be. There is the massage lounge, and this is for more socially compatible people. Many people like to socialize while they're getting massages. Many do not. We also can have masseuse that comes to your room specifically, privately, to make sure that you have a delightful evening into the night. We'll be docking into the last port about 9 p.m. Reservations can be made off-site. One of the wonderful things about the East Coast is that you can see the aurora borealis very, very clearly over the ocean. I highly recommend it, even if you intend on staying here on the ship, or I'm sorry, on the train. We can accommodate a balcony view that overlooks the eastern northern coast, and you can definitely enjoy that without having to leave the train. But if it is something that you want to go to one of the local resorts and book a room for the afternoon or the night, that will be more than welcome after 9 p.m. and any kind of video or recording. We always make a habit of recording these events as they happen, so if you'd like to take any of that home with you, I'll make sure that we can put it on a flash drive as well. So, day 8, boarding begins back at 1 p.m. So we're going to be a little bit late, later than some of the previous days at 1 p.m., mandatory by 2 p.m. And then we will be heading back down south, and this will be the last segment of our journey. All of our services will be offered to you at any point during this day. We expect to usually dock between 8 and 9 p.m. in the afternoon. I will make sure that we can page Suko in the case that you have any requests between now and then, wrapping up any of your final details, gathering up any of your luggage, any of your personal belongings, things that you'd like to purchase from the gift shop or from the culinary shop. That is something that he or I would be able to arrange. Okay. And let me write down. This is my personal number. And this is Suko's number. And either of us will be able to help you coordinate, even though I specialize in the entertainment aspect of the trip. If there's anything that I can't do, I will redirect you to the appropriate person, very likely Suko, or vice versa. Okay. Well, I want to thank you again for joining us on this journey, and I welcome you to the library lounge. Feel free to get comfortable, find yourself a book, find yourself some tea or coffee or your beverage of choice. And if there's anything that either of us can do to help and make this trip any more enjoyable for you, definitely reach out to either of us, okay? Alright, sweetie. Get comfortable. And I will be with you over the next 8 days. Thank you so much.